Hey boys and girls, I want to talk to you a little bit today about global winds and ocean currents. We talked a little bit about winds yesterday, so I'm just going to go a little more detail into that today. So, there might be days where you see that we've kind of already talked about this before, and I feel like it's okay. We can talk about it as many times as we need to. It's not going to hurt us any. All right. So, first we're going to talk about the jet stream, and I know we talked about that yesterday some. This gets a little more in depth in it. So, here's another picture of the jet stream. Remember what I told you yesterday. It doesn't always look the same. It's not always exactly right here on the United States. It can move up and down, okay? So this is an air current that's high in the atmosphere. It's like a tube or a river of air. It usually looks, like a snake. It's a slithery pattern. It always goes from west to east, just like the winds, the jet stream. Okay, now the effect the jet stream has on weather in the United States, like we said, areas above it have colder temperatures, below it are warmer. This is always true. So if this is to move down, above that is going to be colder. The jet stream does not always stay in the same place. You also hear people talk about the jet stream when they're flying in an airplane. If you're traveling from east to west and you somehow, are near the jet stream, it will affect you as far as how long it takes you to get there, because you're going to be going against the wind. If you've ever been walking and the wind's blowing, you walk a little slower if it's blowing right in your face. And just like that, let's say you're leaving the west coast headed towards the east coast, sometimes you can kind of hop along that jet stream, or you can get the air off of that jet stream and it'll get you back here a little bit faster. So people talk about that whenever we are doing flights and stuff. Okay, again, we saw a picture like this yesterday. The jet stream is that boundary between the cold and the warm. Remember, above it is cold. I think of the North Pole up above, north. When we go north in the United States, we think about it being colder there than it is down south. So above the jet stream is cold, below it is warmer. Here's some different pictures of the jet stream. You can see where we are here in North Carolina. In this particular picture, the jet stream is going right across us. Here's another one. Look right there. The jet stream isn't even close to us right here, like it was. Here's another one. The jet stream is completely above North Carolina in this one. It doesn't always stay in the same spot. That's what I'm telling you. It changes where its location is. Okay? So this is saying the polar front jet stream, its average winter position. This is where you can see it a lot of times in the winter. This is where you might see it in the summer. Okay? Now, global winds are winds that are named for the direction where they come from, not the direction they blow towards. We talked about these. You've got your prevailing westerlies, which we have here in North Carolina, in the whole United States. We have those polar easterlies that are in the polar regions. They're blowing to the east. And then we have our trade winds, and those are winds that are in our tropical areas. We saw a picture very similar to this yesterday. We've got our easterlies, our westerlies, and our trade winds here at the equator. You see your warm air kind of moving around here. Okay. You have a sheet very similar, or you've got a chart similar to this that I sent home. It's just kind of a reminder of your winds remember, this is the equator. We're not here at the equator. We're here in this green part. We're in the prevailing westerlies. This is where we are. Okay? And remember, if they're westerlies, that means west to east, like we've said over and over. So those easterlies are east to west. All right? And the trade winds are also easterlies. And they're right here at the equator. So you can see you've got them going in opposite directions. Okay, the Gulf Stream. You may have heard us, we talk about the Gulf Stream a lot as far as on our weather. The Gulf Stream is a warm ocean current in the Atlantic Ocean. The Gulf Stream flows from the south of Florida, up the east coast, and then across the Atlantic towards Europe. So that's us, guys. When you're at Florida and you go up the east coast, we are along the east coast. The Gulf Stream warms up the air and land along the eastern coast of the U.S., brings warmer temperatures to Europe during the cooler months. We see a lot of hurricanes forming out here in this warm water that sometimes come up here and get us. Okay, again, there's Florida. We're right around here. This is where it's talking about that Gulf Stream, and it's heading things over to Europe. Okay, there it's trying to show you Charlotte. You know, here's North Carolina. We're right here on the coast. This is a thermal image, and it's showing, those colors are showing how warm something is. So right here it's a lot warmer, and it's getting cooler as it goes away. Okay. You may have heard of El Nino and La Nina. So, my Spanish-speaking friends, El Nino is the boy. Okay, this is a climate pattern representing an unusual warming of the Pacific Ocean, which is linked to impacts on weather and climate around the world. Okay. So El Nino, or the boy, brings more rainstorms, higher temps. This is warmer. So remember it however you want. You know, I can pick on boys and say, you know, the boys, they're bringing more storms. And they're hot-headed, higher temperatures, warming of that ocean. Now that's the Pacific Ocean. We are at the Atlantic. The Pacific Ocean is on the western side of the United States. So, El Nino is a climate pattern where the water in the Pacific near the equator gets hotter, and it affects the atmosphere and weather around the world. They are not predictable. So we can pick on the boys some more and say, we never know what these boys are going to do. All right, La Nina means the girl. So I would say, oh, girls are very cool. This is an unusual cooling of the Pacific Ocean. You can remember it however you want. I just like picking on the boys a little bit. So La Nina is still in the Pacific, but it's that cooling of that, and it also impacts the weather. It's the opposite of El Nino. During La Nina, the water gets colder than usual, and La Nina patterns a lot of times will create a more active hurricane season in the Atlantic. So it's just that different kind of warming. So the warming of that water really makes the warming and cooling of the water really makes a difference in what our weather's going to be. All right. Okay. So there is a little bit of information on winds, ocean currents, El Nino, and La Nina.